Hello Scorpio, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your recent past, your current energy, and your immediate future, answering the question, what do you need to know right now in order to move forward in alignment with your higher self? Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone, so do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Scorpio, we're going to dive in looking at overall energy through oracle cards first, and then we'll dive deeper into the story with tarot as we progress. But we're going to start with looking at your recent past. Let's look at what you guys have been dealing with. Ooh. Earth shifts and increase. And then you have karma. Interesting. Okay. Things are shifting, or in your recent past, I feel like you went through a really big shift in your life. And this shift is almost it's like it's increasing like positive abundance in your life, but I feel like it's been it hasn't happened immediately, because it feels like maybe there was a change that you made or things changed in some way, but you haven't seen like the payoff of that. And I feel like you might be in the middle of like questioning if this is worth it or if this is the right path for you. And I feel like this is, that in-between phase where we start something new or we walk away from something, or we choose our worth and our value in a way that we never really have before. We are pretty much guaranteed to face obstacles and challenges and setbacks when we make those decisions. And a lot of times, we think that those obstacles, challenges, and setbacks are proof that we're going the wrong way, or proof that the things that we desire aren't possible for us. But ultimately, those obstacles, challenges, and setbacks are giving us opportunities to work through our limiting beliefs and to rise to the occasion of becoming the person that we need to be to manifest our desires. So I feel like you've been putting a lot of work into something and you haven't seen the payoff. This karma here, to me, feels like you are deserving of some sort of payoff, some sort of reward. I just feel like it hasn't made its way to you yet. Now, this is what you have been dealing with, so this is recent past, but I feel like you are maybe still dealing with that energy right now, because with this increase, you have successfully manifested something near and dear to your heart. It's like it's happened, like you've created it. It just hasn't found its way into your reality yet, and I feel like that's where maybe there's some frustration or some second guessing involved. Current energy for Scorpio. Metamorphosis, celebration, natural born leader. See, this is really powerful energy, because it feels like you're kind of taking charge of your life and your happiness in some sort of way, but it's not. Here's what's so important when it comes to understanding what stepping into your power looks like, is that it does not happen all at once, and you are not going to feel powerful and confident and certain and faithful every single day. There's going to be highs and lows, and those highs and lows are just part of the process. It doesn't mean you're doing it wrong. It doesn't mean that you're wrong for believing that things can improve for you or that things can work out for you. It just means that you're still in the middle of a journey. This metamorphosis card is definitely this indication of like caterpillar in the cocoon, right? I feel like in this past energy with, some sort of shift, some sort of change that happened in your life, I feel like it's almost like you entered into the cocoon, this phase of transformation, this phase of showing up for that change. And I feel like you're on the verge of kind of like, I hate to use another analogy, but like Phoenix rising from the ashes kind of way. It feels like you've kind of been going through this shift, going through this change, through this transformation, probably for a really long time. And I feel like you're stepping into your power more and more each and every time you choose to show up with faith, to show up with love for yourself and for, the process. And I feel like things are going to pay off for you. I feel like whoever this reading is for needs to know that, like, it's going to happen for you. Like things are going to pay off. I was watching a video by Mel Robbins the other day, and I really liked it. And I feel like it can really apply to this reading. And she was talking about how, like, when she's going through struggles or when she's putting a lot of work into something, into creating something or whatever the case might be, she always tells herself, like, there is no way that you have put in this much work and that it's going to amount to nothing. Like, you've put in the work, it's going to lead to rewards. It's going to lead to payoff. It's going to lead to positive shifts. Because that continues to give her the motivation to keep showing up for the things that she desires, even when there's delays or obstacles or challenges or setbacks. So I feel like this is definitely about, you've put a lot of energy into something and you're wanting to see more of a payoff from it. I feel like you will. You will. You're in the middle of a transformation. You're in the middle of stepping into your power. It's not something, like I said, that happens all at once. And there's going to be times where you are feeling more powerful and more in charge and more, like I said, trusting of the universe and trusting in the process than others. Just trying to lean into that energy of trusting. I mean, even just stopping there, just leaning into the energy of trusting right now, I think is really important. Old Soul. And the magic touch. And then recognition. Maybe that's what you're struggling with. It's like you haven't received the recognition or like the payoff for all of the work that you've put in. This old soul says you've lived many lifetimes and gained wisdom beyond your years. I feel like I'm speaking to somebody who has really put in the work to grow, to heal, to evolve, to expand themselves in some way. And I like this because this magic touch card is you are accessing true magic from within. Sometimes I've really learned that when we're pursuing a path, it feels a hell of a lot like it doesn't matter and it's not going to pay off before it does. And I think that puts us into this energy of like, is this even worth it? I've put in all this work and it's amounting to nothing. And then we kind of almost feel like giving up or like abandoning a path altogether. And I think that would be the worst thing you could do for yourself right now, because I feel like you're closer to getting to where you want to be than you even know that you are. I really do feel like this is kind of like manifestations coming into reality. It's like you've manifested it up here, right? With your thoughts and your actions and your beliefs, and it just needs some time to trickle down into the 5D energy. There's a delay there, right? And what we do between, when it's manifested up here and when it trickles down to the reality depends or determines whether or not we truly create it or we manifest, the belief that we aren't capable, deserving, or that it's not possible for us or that we're not trusted by the universe. So right now you're in that in-between phase. Trust it. Trust where you're at right now. Trust where you're headed, because I think that it's like the rewards start to kind of flow in this future energy here. And I think that it's going to be, it's kind of like stepping into maybe the spotlight in some way too. So I don't know. I'm excited about this for you here. I think that you have reasons to doubt, right? Everybody has reasons to doubt, but you don't have to believe those reasons. Trust the transformation. Trust yourself. I mean, I think that that's the other thing too, and kind of what I was getting at with that Mel Robbins quote is like, you've put in so much work and so much effort, and you've done the healing. You've shown up. Like, that isn't gonna be for nothing. It's going to pay off. You're going to see rewards from that. Absolutely. So trust yourself. Trust the work you've put in, because it is worthwhile, and it will pay off. Okay, overall theme of this reading for Scorpio. A personal issue reaches resolution. Expect powerful change and emotions are running high. And then you have confidence as your key to success, but I'm going to start with these three. I feel like a lot of the emotions that are running really high for you right now, Scorpio, are probably frustration, doubt, second guessing, maybe even fear and anxiety about the future. I can't say this enough. I feel like things are going to change in a really powerful way. And I feel like every worry that you have regarding this situation is going to be resolved. I really, truly do. I feel like the most important thing is to keep showing up. Our emotions are not indications of truth, merely an indication of how our brain is currently processing what we're going through. So they're valid and they're important, but we don't have to believe that every feeling that we have is going to essentially be a truth, right? If you feel afraid that things aren't working out, that's not a truth that things aren't working out. That's your fear at work. So paying attention and being able to kind of be the observer of your reality right now, stepping outside of the trigger, stepping outside of the emotion, and responding, with faith, with confidence, with love. That's going to get you to where you're trying to go for sure. All right, let's dive into this even more, Scorpio. Let's look at this past energy. Earth shifts and increase. Recent past, Scorpio. So here you are. Ooh, and the Five of Wands. Okay, Queen of Cups with Five of Wands. Whether you're a male or female, it doesn't matter. This is definitely your energy. Okay, Five of Wands, Six of Cups in reverse. I feel like I want one more. I feel like for a long time, okay, the Magician and the Page of Swords, and then the Lovers in reverse on the bottom, there was a lot of maybe fighting some sort of shift, resisting it in some sort of way. Maybe not even necessarily intentionally or consciously, but I do feel that there was some sort of shift that needed to lead you to this transformation, but I feel like there was a lot of fear around it. So there's kind of this energy of staying, like the Six of Cups in reverse to me is like the same old same, like staying in the energy of what you're used to, even though I feel like in your heart you knew that you were being called to more, pulled to more, because it feels like there is some sort of path that you've been really excited about, that like with the Page of Swords, like there's a lot of excitement, there's a lot of intention around some sort of path. And I feel like you're like in your heart, you really want to create this, to manifest this. But there's also some feelings of like, well, maybe I'm not deserving, or maybe I'm not worthy, or maybe I'm not good enough, or maybe I can't have these things for whatever reason. And I feel like a lot of those reasons that caused you to resist making some sort of change are now coming up, like the fear or the doubt or the insecurity are now coming up in the energy that you're in right now. And that's what I was kind of saying at the beginning of the reading. When we start to take action and make change, toward things that serve us or away from things that don't, we are going to face almost immediately the fear, the doubt, the insecurity that we're making the wrong choice, that we're not worthy and deserving of more, that we should just settle, that we should just allow ourselves to accept what is and not try to create better. This is also what I was kind of saying with like your emotions aren't necessarily truths. Those don't have to be truths. A lot of people will see those things. If you don't have the awareness, if you haven't done the work, they'll see those things and they'll say, this is proof that I'm not capable, deserving, that it's not possible for me, that the universe doesn't have my back, and they'll give up. They'll say, whatever, throw in the towel, let it go. I feel like for you, Scorpio, I feel like you've done too much work to like turn around and to give up on this path or like on this outcome or whatever it is. Now, there's a difference here, okay? When I talk about an outcome, I'm talking about the success that you desire, the love that you deserve. I'm not necessarily talking about the specific outcome that you have in mind. So it's not necessarily a relationship with that specific person or, a specific amount of money or success happening in a specific timeline. I think a lot of what we have to do when we're trusting the process is let go of what we think we need, let go of our attachment to a specific outcome, and allow things to unfold the way that they're supposed to. And I think that that's what you're struggling with a little bit right now. But that's where our power lies, is being able to trust that what is happening for our highest good, even if we don't fully understand it when we're in the middle of it. I do feel that you'll see it when you get to where you're going, though. Current energy for Scorpio. So we resist change, we resist shifts because we're afraid of the unknown. And I mean, that's the thing, right? Our ego prefers a familiar hell over an unfamiliar heaven. And even if something doesn't make you happy or make you feel abundant, or even if you know that you're meant for more, there's a part of you, not just you in particular, but part of us that is actually very afraid of the things that we desire because it exists in the unknown. So in the energy that you're in right now, you're deep in the unknown. And it's both yes, kind of scary energy, not in the sense that you have anything to be scared of, but in the sense that the unknown is scary. Change is really scary. But I feel like your hard work is paying off. I feel like you're going to get to where you're trying to go. Yeah, because there's the Knight of Wands. This is, leap of faith energy. This is putting yourself out there. This is taking a chance on you and on some sort of path and on some sort of... I like that. 3 of Cups, on some sort of outcome that you know in your heart you're meant for. Ace of Cups. There's the Justice here. So we started this reading kind of talking about karma. It kind of feels like you're due for some positive karma, some positive shifts in your energy. And I don't mean that in the sense that you deserve it. Because I didn't say that right. I don't mean that in the sense that now you deserve it because you've always been deserving of it. But I feel like you've worked through a lot of things that have made you believe that you were undeserving or incapable or not good enough. And it's almost like your confidence has expanded a lot. And that energy is going to take you really far. So, I think that instead of looking at the things that you've been through and the struggles that you've had, instead of looking at them from this place of, I've overcome things that have tried to help hold me back, I encourage you to look at it through this energy of, I have overcome things that have turned me into the person that I am today to make me capable of continuing to move forward. And that's what I've really learned, is that obstacles and challenges are really opportunities if we're willing to see it that way. They're opportunities to help us grow, expand, heal, and rise to meet us at being the person that we need to be to manifest what it is that we deserve. Because we don't manifest what we want, we manifest who we are. We manifest what we believe. We manifest the person that we believe we are, the worthiness that we believe we hold. And a lot of manifestation and creating the life that you deserve is actually not about what you do. It's about the energy that you carry. It's about how you handle the obstacles and challenges and moments and periods where you feel like you're failing, whether you lean into faith or you allow that fear to overwhelm you. And there are going to be times where fear is going to overwhelm you, and that's okay because you are human and that's part of the process. But I do really feel like where you're at right now is about really, really, like, I keep saying this, but really, really trusting the process, trusting your transformation, and trusting that also, like, you've changed a lot, right? So in a good way, I feel like you've put in a lot of work and you've made a lot of progress in your own personal journey. Of course, your outcomes are going to be different. Old cycles and old situations and old, periods of lack, those things don't serve you anymore. They're not, you've learned what you've needed to from these things, from these old cycles and spaces and places. So now you're stepping into a new version of you that is now going to be able to create more because you have, again, more confidence, a deeper sense of purpose. There's more healing that's been done. And with this 3 of Cups and the Ace of Cups, it kind of feels like finding where you belong. Like listening to your heart's calling almost. And that might sound a little cheesy, but listening to maybe a calling that you've been putting off or a path that you've been setting to the side, maybe because you felt like you had to or you needed to. But this is embodiment. I mean, this is taking life by the horns. What is that saying? It's bull by the horns. It feels like it's a very powerful energy for you. And I think that it's going to pay off. What can Scorpio expect in their future energy should they continue to show up on this path? Okay, I like the Strength. the Emperor, and the Wheel of Fortune. Oh, that's so powerful. The Strength, the Emperor, and the Wheel of Fortune. Your confidence and your power turns the wheel in your favor. You know, a lot of people think that manifestation is about, you know, saying the affirmations and hoping for the best, right? Hoping for opportunities, hoping that things are just going to magically change. And they don't. That's not what happens. It's not that, you know, the affirmations aren't important or that shifting your belief system isn't important. It's about the embodiment. It's about how you show up. It's about what you commit to. It's about being the person that you need to be to manifest that life before that life appears. That is what you are doing, Scorpio. And that is where you start to turn things in your favor. And that's where things start to pay off. So I feel like this is a reading for someone who needs to know that they're doing the right things. You are doing enough. You are enough. And the things that you are putting energy into, like, you are going to see payoff from. Like, your hard work is paying off. And I think you can expect things to change in a pretty powerful way. It might not happen like you expect or like you think it needs to. But at the end of the day, that doesn't really matter, right? Because if you find yourself where you want to be and where you belong, even if it doesn't happen the way that your ego thinks it needs to, you're going to still be happy because you're going to be aligned with where you're supposed to be, with the abundance that you deserve. So I feel like, yeah, this is a major confirmation for somebody out there, knowing that, like, yes, you're on the right path. You're doing the right things. You're doing enough. You're doing enough. I think that someone really needs to hear that. Just keep committing, keep showing up, and I think you'll see that confidence and that powerful confidence is going to turn things into, or turn the wheel in your favor with the Wheel of Fortune. This is really incredible energy. This is like the payoff of the work. Okay, we're going to hop on over to the extended. I'm going to dive deeper into this, looking at what you need to do right now to ensure you're moving forward in alignment with your higher self. And then I have an advice card to pull from your spiritual team at the very end. Thank you so much, Scorpio, as always, for your support of my channel. I do obviously hope that this reading helped and resonated with you in a way that you were needing today. And as always, I wish you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things that you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Scorpio.